Muff, it's 2025. Do we really need a flagship phone to play all the latest games?
Maybe.
Maybe
or maybe not.
Okay.
Depending.
All right. So we've got 4 of these handsets with us. They're not flagship products. They're not budget phones either. They're somewhere in the middle segment. We don't officially have a pricing for all of them because they haven't all been released yet. So let's kind of take a look at these 4 phones and see how they perform in terms of gaming. That's what we're specifically looking for. Now, each one of these phones has a different processor, which is the reason we chose these. And all of these are somewhat medium-end processors. Let's kind of see how it works for all of them. So which games are popular in 2025? Which games did we use to test these phones out to sort of see what their performance levels are?
So we tested 3 games. One is PUBG, because it's super famous.
Classic, yep.
Still very popular, and because it is still one of the most difficult games to run on a medium-end phone.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
This game still struggles, like if you go for like max graphics. Then we tried Genshin Impact.
Again, a very popular game.
Very popular for viewers. And last one we tried was Diablo Immortal.
All right. Why did we choose that?
Because not only it looks good, but it also has ray tracing effect. But only one of these phones works.
Okay. All right. So let's get started with what we have over here.
Yeah.
All right. So the first phone we have is the Huawei Nova 13 Pro, and this has the Kirin 8000 chipset, which is Huawei's own high silicon chipset on there. My first question to you is that obviously Huawei doesn't have Play Store. They have got their own app gallery and stuff like that. So were these games available on app gallery for you to download?
Majority of the games were not.
Okay.
We tried those 3 that I said in the start of the video, and we tried a few more. Majority of them was not there. Like even the Chinese games like Genshin Impact, Zen Zero, they were not there.
Which is surprising.
Which was weird, right? But PUBG was there, which is, I guess, Chinese.
Tencent, yep.
So I don't know why that is, but if you want to play games, all the games that are on the Google Play Store, then you need to download Gbox.
Okay.
And from there you need to download Play Store, and from there you need to download your games.
Okay. Now here's a question for you. Does that, do you think, has an impact on performance?
I don't think so, because I know that Gbox emulates the Google sandbox, and runs the games within that sandbox.
Got it.
But I don't think it hits the performance.
There's no performance at all.
That too much. Maybe 1%, 2%, but you don't notice that.
Okay. All right. So we tried all 3 games on this phone, which were PUBG, Genshin Impact, and Diablo Immortal. So tell us, let's start with PUBG.
Yeah.
Let's start with that.
PUBG, we went for max graphics with HDR enabled.
All right.
And the performance was okay-ish, right? I think from what I can judge, I cannot see the FPS on an Android phone, but the performance was around 40 FPS. But the problem with that is that there's a lot of stuttering. Like you can see the camera go like cut. You know?
Gotcha.
Gotcha. So
okay.
that's one of the things. And because the screen has no VRR, you will notice that stuttering all the time. So it's not like smooth 60 FPS.
Got it.
It's still playable. I mean, you can play a match. You probably can do well enough.
Okay.
But if you want like proper smooth experience, it's not there.
Got it. All right. So the next game was Genshin Impact.
Genshin Impact.
How did that work on this?
That runs smooth enough. But I noticed again that in some areas where if you look at it, it drops frame rates. So it goes from say 60 FPS to maybe 55 FPS, maybe 58 FPS.
Okay.
Just
under 60, yeah.
So sometimes it drops, and yeah, it was
but still very
playable.
Gotcha. And then coming to Diablo Immortal, the last one.
Yeah.
How did that work on this?
Diablo Immortal, this mobile phone did not have ray tracing feature enabled because it's not.
The GPU isn't
for the
not supported. Okay.
But the game runs smooth, little hitching here and there, but I think that's just how the game is on the phone. Otherwise, pretty smooth at max graphics.
So overall, games are pretty playable on it.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. The next phone is the Oppo Reno 13. Now, beautiful phone. I really love the way this phone looks, super thin and light. Which chipset is this based on?
This is the MediaTek Dimensity 8350.
8350. All right, excellent. So coming back to our 3 games.
Yeah.
Again, PUBG, the first one.
Yeah.
How did that perform?
Noticeably worse than the Huawei.
Noticeably worse.
Yeah.
Okay.
But here's the thing, right? I don't think it performed worse in terms of FPS.
Okay.
But the stutters that's in the game, that is more noticeable in this phone.
Interesting. Okay.
I think it's because of the screen, the refresh rate mismatch, or it can't smoothen it.
Okay.
But you can feel the cuts
Interesting.
much more than on the Huawei.
Oh wow, that's
Yeah.
interesting. Okay. What about Genshin Impact?
Genshin Impact, same, smooth, but when it drops frame rate, you can notice the frame rate drop. In the Huawei, you can feel the frame rate drop, but
Gotcha.
it's smoothened out because of the screen.
Gotcha.
But here you can,
It's instant.
yeah, it just goes like cut.
Ah, okay. And then finally, Diablo.
Diablo is pretty much smooth. There's a
Okay.
little bit of hitting here and there, but that's like a top-down game, so you don't have that camera to pan.
Gotcha.
So it's
it's
pretty
not
much
as fast
smooth.
moving, so it's easier on the phone.
It's smooth, but there's a little bit of stutter hitching here and there, but I think that's just the game.
Gotcha. And no ray tracing on this either.
No ray tracing here.
Okay. All right. So that is the Oppo Reno 13. Let's move on to our next contestant. This is the Redmi Note 14 Pro Plus 5G. Could it have an even longer name? Maybe put in an Ultra in there somewhere as well. All right. So which processor does this?
This has the Snapdragon 7S Gen 3.
7S Gen 3. So that's the latest Snapdragon, which is sort of like a mid-range processor.
Yes.
Okay, fantastic.
Yeah.
How did this phone do?
Much better, like way better than
Across the board.
across the board.
Okay, so then let's start with the PUBG experience.
So at max graphics, everything's smooth.
Nice.
Little bit of hitching here and there, but pretty smooth, where you can actually feel like, oh yeah, this is a good processor. Snapdragon is usually very powerful, very good. Game runs super smooth, no problem. Game looks great. The HDR works, everything is sharp, perfect.
Fantastic.
Super smooth. Yeah.
Fantastic. I'm assuming if it played PUBG well, Genshin Impact should also probably be easy for this phone then.
So here's a weird thing. I don't know why, but the game looked blurry
Okay.
with a lot of anti-aliasing issues in it.
Okay.
So it looks like jagged edges.
Okay.
It looked like it was running at a lower resolution.
Right.
But I checked the graphics settings multiple times to see if that's the case, but that's not the case. I had it at the highest graphics level.
Okay.
But it looked blurry for some reason. I don't know why. So it could be that some games don't have the right compatibility with the chipset.
Gotcha.
So it runs game at a lower resolution or at a lower graphics level because it cannot detect what to do with it.
Got it.
So maybe
Over
Genshin-
time,
yeah,
it might optimize.
they might update the game to support the processor. So there might be some games where it will not run well. It was smooth. The game was smooth, but it
Runs
looked
smooth,
blurry.
but didn't look as good. Okay. And then finally, Diablo Immortal.
Diablo was smooth, and this was the only phone that had
Ray tracing. Did you notice a difference in visuals with ray tracing on and off on these phones?
Not much. Maybe a better shadows, maybe better lighting, but you can't really tell.
On these small
Yeah.
screens and stuff, it's difficult to
And
tell.
yeah, very hard to say. And there was no performance hit,
Okay.
so it
All
was
right.
fun.
Okay. Fair enough. So Snapdragon 7S. And then finally, we have the Poco X7 Pro. This one's also got a MediaTek chip inside.
Yeah,
Which one is that?
This is the MediaTek Dimensity 8400 Ultra.
8400 Ultra, which I'm assuming is probably their
Yeah.
high-end
Yeah,
chipset on there. Okay. And how did this do then?
the best of the lot.
Oh, really?
Everything runs smooth. Everything looked great. Little bit of stuttering, hitching, but that's just the game. Everything was super smooth.
Wow.
PUBG right from the start, like absolutely stellar performance. Looked great.
Very nice.
Nice picture quality. Just absolutely smooth. Genshin Impact, it ran very well. I think it recognized the processor, so the game looked sharp, the game looked vibrant, super smooth performance, not as many noticeable drops in frame rates as the other phones.
Okay.
So it was maintaining that stable 60 FPS.
Gotcha.
And Diablo flawless again there as well.
Gotcha. So this phone, the performance and the visuals both were great on
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
Okay. kind of makes sense because Poco is generally targeted as a gaming phone. So out of these four, I'm assuming that if you were to pick a gaming phone, Poco might be the best brand to go for on that level. Okay, fantastic. So then I have one final question for you. These are mid-ranged phones and you've seen varying differences of performance and stuff like that. Do we really need a flagship phone to play at least the games that we tried in 2025? Or are these phones good enough for the average gamer? Average mobile gamer, I'd say.
I think these phones are good enough for the average mobile gamer. Like if you are into competitive play in PUBG or Call of Duty, Warzone, whatever, these could run it. If you lower the graphics, it could run at a stable, smooth 60 FPS or maybe even 120 FPS.
Nice.
You don't necessarily need a higher end phone unless you want that better graphics.
Okay.
And when you want that better graphics, then like the Poco, it's not the higher end phone, right?
Correct.
But it runs games very, very well, like better than the rest. So when you're looking for a phone that you want to run games at the highest graphical level, then you have to look at the processor and see if, even if it's not a Snapdragon or even if it's not the higher end version, can it run those games properly?
Makes sense. Yeah. And the Poco X4 can.
Yeah.
So that's our choice of game as far as middle-aged phone.
Absolutely.
Okay, fantastic. Well, there you go. Let us know if you guys would like to know anything additional about these phones or any other games that you'd like us to sort of look at this in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe.